Hello and welcome to TotoTCG. You are here with me, Matthew, and we are back here with another Pokemon news update. So we are still cracking on with Fairy Rise. This is going to be the second new GX that we're going to be checking out. You can probably see by the purple background that we might be checking out a Psychic type. But what is the Psychic type, I hear you ask? Well, let's have a little look. We have this guy right here, or this Pokemon right here. Not too sure what generation this came out in. Probably I'm going to say 5. Could be 6, but I'm going to say 5. Probably someone in the comments below will probably let me know. This is Sigilyph GX. One that I was not expecting whatsoever. They definitely do surprise us every now and again and give us this one-off that we probably... I don't know, we might have had an EX of this. Let me know in the comments below, have we had an EX of this? I'm not too sure if we have. But Sigilyph GX nevertheless. Of course, it is a Psychic type with a HP of 170. Sort of the weaker margin of a basic Pokemon, which this is. So, yeah, I mean, pretty cool. Pretty interesting Psychic type. It does have an ability and a few different attacks as well, which we will be going over. So, because this card was released about a month ago, less than a month ago actually, it was the day that we had Celestial Storm come out. So, yeah, we've had about just under a month to sort of have a look at this thing and study it, but it looks pretty cool. So we also do have the Full Art and Rainbow Rare to check out, which they are right there. Look at those bad boys. So they're looking very nice indeed. I love how you've got all the different colours and the background is just purple. I say that a lot, but it definitely does make a big impact. And it looks insane. Really does look very, very cool. It's a very interesting design. Very, very out there and unique. So I like it. I think it could be a really, really good one. The Rainbow Rare as well. Obviously, it stays the exact same picture. But it does look very interesting indeed. So let's have a little look at these moves. So the first one up is called Mirror Counter. This is the ability. So let's have a little read. There is a little bit to this, but let's have a read. If this Pokemon is your active Pokemon and it is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon GX or EX, even if this Pokemon is knocked out, put damage counters on the attacking Pokemon equal to the damage done to this Pokemon. Now that is pretty cool. There are a lot of Pokemon which could definitely get to 170. Now I'm not saying the Pokemon who is going to attack you has 170 HP, but what if they have a choice band? What if they've got all the extra bonuses which sort of add up to maybe 200, 210, that sort of thing? Maybe they go way over that and do like maybe 250 because of a GX. Even more. You never know. The fact that this thing can basically counter what your opponent is throwing at you, it almost means that your opponent has to... They basically have to take you out slowly and very minutely. So maybe a Tapu Koko on the bench and they sort of bench damage you with the 20. That sort of over time will get a knockout. It is very slow, but you really want to go against something like a Buzzwole, which could probably one-shot this, but you might be able to one-shot it back, that sort of thing, especially when it's weak to Psychic. That could be pretty cool. And the fact that it actually says nothing at all about weakness and resistance, although I don't think... This isn't an attack, so it's an ability. So whether the weakness actually plays onto this, I don't think it does. But I definitely think it is a very, very nice ability. Something definitely to look out for. So the first attack is called Sonic Wing for 1 Psychic and a double colourless. So it does 80 damage, and this attack's damage isn't affected by resistance. So that's kind of annoying. Isn't affected by resistance. If it was affected by resistance... Oh, resistance! Ah, it's not weakness. Okay, that's fine. That is all good. So say something has a resistance to Psychic, then it isn't affected by it, which is pretty nice. But 80 damage, it's a little bit weak, I have to say. Definitely a little bit weak. Probably going to be focusing very much on that ability to try and get some damage thrown back in their face, which would be pretty cool indeed. So let's have a little chat about that GX, which is called Intercept GX. Again, for Psychic and Colourless. Love it when the Pokemon have the exact same attack costs. But let's see what it does. So 60 times damage. This attack does 60 damage times the number of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So that is pretty cool. Because if we think about, like I've just mentioned, Buzzwole to get this thing to be knocked out would have to have the 3 energies on it. Now, I believe you can at least knock the Buzzwole out with those 3 energies attached, which in this case would be 180. A choice spam would push that to 210. So that would be really cool. In terms of a Zoroark GX, it would probably only have 2 energies on it. Which means 120, 150, it's not going to get a knockout. So you've got to definitely time it well, look at what your opponent is stacking the energy up, and then intercept it with this. Could be a very interesting one indeed. I definitely think it's worth a little look at. Probably not a deck on its own, but maybe a nice little like one-off tech or something like that. Who knows? Who knows? Let's finish this off though with, of course, when it does get knocked out, your opponent does get 2 prize cards. We know that. It has a weakness to electric, which is ×2, a resistance to fighting, which isn't bad because of Buzzwole, so that's pretty nice. And it has a retreat of 2, so it's alright. I mean, you know, you're just getting rid of a DCE possibly. But, you know, there are a few other things which can give us a hand. Speaking of that, let's have a little look at what works with this card. So first things to talk about, let's have a little look at Malamar. Of course, Malamar's got that ability where you can get the psychic energy out from the discard pile and put it onto a benched Pokemon. So that's pretty cool. Getting 2 of these going, you can at least get some psychic energies going on there. You might not have to rely on double colours, which is pretty nice. We got Ultra of the Moon. Retreat cost of each of the Pokemon that has psychic or dark energy attached is 2 less. Now say you only have 1 psychic energy, it has free retreat. So that's pretty cool. Definitely a nice stadium to put into play. I've also put in here Necrozma GX. This one does rely on psychic energy, so then again it does work very well with the psychic recharge Malamar, so that's pretty cool. We got Zoroark GX as well. If we're not going to be hitting for KOs, we could at least trade for some stuff and get some nice damage put on to at least allow us to possibly bring it up and do that 80 damage with a choice band that's probably going to get a knockout with a righteous beating of a full bench. Both of them could be pretty interesting. Plus, you'd have 2 different resistances. You'd have a resistance to Psychic, and you've had a resistance to Fighting. So, I mean, there is that. So that is pretty cool. We've also got Banette GX. Thought I'd bring this in from the Celestial Storm set we got. The Shady Move ability allows you to obviously move the damage counters around, which is pretty cool. Shadow Chant is an interesting one. That's 30 and then 10 for every supporter in your discard. You can only do 100 though, so that would be 130. There is that. There is just something a bit different. Again, that one does have... it's got a different weakness because the weakness on Sigilyph was lightning. So there is a bit of a difference. So, I don't know. Could be pretty interesting. And of course, I have to bring into play Mysterious Treasure. Any Psychic deck, I think, has to have this to speed it up. And Dragon, of course, has to definitely have Mysterious Treasure. It definitely helps speed up getting stuff on the bench. Of course, Ultra Ball does do that. But this thing, you only have to discard 1 thing. And especially if you have Malamar as well, you're discarding maybe a Psychic Energy, you can bring it back with Malamar, which is always very, very cool indeed. But in terms of what works, that's just a few little bits there. If you guys think of anything else, definitely let me know in the comments below. But let's finish this off. Let's have a little look at the Guess the GX from our previous video. So I gave you that picture right there. That was, of course, probably, I don't know, maybe a little bit simplistic, but it was Darkrai GX, the full art. So well done to anyone who got that. Pretty nice. So let's have a little look at the Guess the GX for this episode. So we have that picture there, and there it is even bigger. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think this GX is. Definitely stay tuned for tomorrow for another of the GXs, which will no doubt be revealed. Yeah, and like I said, comment throughout, you know, let me know your thoughts on Sigilyph. I think it could be interesting. I don't think it can hold its own in a deck on its own. Maybe a tech, maybe a one-off, especially with that GX. Could be interesting with that Intercept. A lot of different things. Rayquaza, for example, has 3 energies on it, so that could be a pretty nice one for Intercept. Bring that up. So, yeah, could be pretty interesting. Definitely think of giving it a chance. But yeah, there we go. I'll leave it here for this video, and I will see you guys in the next video on the channel.